Wow, y'all, I was gone for a few days catching up on some sleep. Been posting videos every day, every other day for almost 10 months now. So I needed that break or rest, some would say. A viewer from Seattle, Washington, he hit me up on Instagram and he sent me the story about the councilwoman being caught being a total hypocrite on her stance on defund the police. Now she wants police presence at her home when the criminals are at her door. He sent me that story before it even got big, because this was big in the city of Seattle. Now we have the news clip that I will be reacting to, but this viewer from Seattle, Washington, he now lives in Texas, guys, and he's told me about how he voted for Trump the first time and that he was glad that he did, because now he understands politically what's going on. Voting blue made Seattle the dump and hellhole that it is today. And like, I've recently seen articles about Seattle, the air quality being bad. I mean, come on. I thought this was the liberal utopia of people, the climate change people. It's crack and heroin smoke. Y'all say legalize all drugs. Is that smoke bad for carbon emissions and nitrogen? Like, what's going on with all that? The Democrats are constantly caught being total hypocrites. In this case, in this case, it is the same. Now, this councilwoman's name is Chavant. The news anchor will say it. And I want to say shout out to Como News 4. They were calling this lady out for being a total hypocrite. Matter of fact, the whole city of Seattle was. But let's get into it.
At 6, police just released these pictures of the person suspected of throwing human feces at the home of Seattle City Council member Shama Sawant.
And let me pause right here, because these pictures, it's just somebody in all black. This could be anybody. And by Chavant, by you wanting to cut the budget, abolish the police state, maybe if the police had money, they could invest in technology to upscale the photos. This could be anybody. This guy's in the clear. Has anybody been arrested? Exactly. He's in the clear. So Chavant, this whole stance of defunding police, you need to come back to reality. Or will you double down and continue being stupid? Because that's what Chavant is, however you say her name.
You may remember Sawant led efforts to defund the police department back in 2020, but now she's demanding an extra police presence outside her home and accusing SPD of not taking the investigation seriously.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pause it again. Oh, they're not taking the investigation seriously. I want to say shout out to Seattle Police Department. Ma'am, you cut our budget. I believe the news people are finna say it, because I did see some of this clip, but not the whole thing. She cut it over $80 million. So if there was a gang unit, they had to get rid of that. They had to get rid of those officers. If there was a narcotics division, they had to get rid of that. I wonder what type of cars these Seattle police drive. You can tell a local police force, if a local police force is funded correctly, if they in the Chargers and the high ride, if they cars got switches and tablets, you can tell that that is a well-funded police department locally. Savant talking about they're not taking it serious. Why should they? Why should the officers put their life on the line for somebody who does not respect them? I don't advise that they do so. But the less staff, less budget, and we have actual real citizens. All because you're a council member doesn't mean you're any different from anybody else. We have other cases to get to, especially in Seattle, where there's a trash chop zone, all that kind of stuff going on. Come on, Miss Chavant, you're a joke. Let's continue.
Tammy Mutasa live tonight with reaction from Sawant's supporters and community leaders who say she can't have it both ways. Tammy?
Preston, and Councilmember Sawant is worried about her family's safety and that these behaviors will continue to escalate. Community leaders say these threats are unacceptable, but they do think it is unfair that she's asking for special treatment after leading efforts to defund police. In a pivotal 2020, Councilmember Kshama Sawant led protests into City Hall and the former mayor's home, then led efforts to defund SPD by 50% and $85 million.
Pause. 85. I said it in earlier in this video. Over 80. So $85 million. You defunded them 50%. Just took their money away for what? That guy from Minnesota that nobody ever heard of? Yeah, we should punish our own city because of what? Chavant and leading the protest in 2020. How do you still have supporters in general? How do you still have supporters? Your supporters are like, this is totally ridiculous. Let's just continue.
But what we will not support is excuses for not defunding SPD.
But now she's asking for police protection herself with patrols around her home.
So now she wants patrols around her home. I want to tell you, officers in Seattle, do not put your life on the line for somebody who does not respect you. That's any job. If you're working on the factory, on the conveyor belt, your manager don't care if you cut your finger off. He don't like you. Don't even put your life on the line for it. If a piece of meat slide, let it slide on the floor. This situation about Miss Charlevon Chavant, you have no respect for police, and now you're calling them. Can you at least give them their budget back so they can at least try to help not only you, since you think you're so special, which is another problem, so they can help the whole city of Seattle out? How about that, Miss Charlevon Chavant? And where is this lady from? Like, you know what? Let's just continue.
Police say this suspect hurled bags of human feces into her yard 6 times. The latest threat was last Thursday.
We don't know that this is going to stop. We don't know that this isn't going to escalate.
Before SPD released the suspect photos, she criticized the police response in a letter to Chief Adrian Diaz and Mayor Bruce Harrell, saying SPD refused to test the fecal matter, and police haven't followed up on threatening emails she got, calling her the Queen of Bleep.
You can't.
Man, let me pause. So, testing the feces. Well, lady, you took 50% of their budget. Your house is probably not the only ones that's facing feces. The whole city of Seattle probably has feces everywhere, like San Francisco did when I was there. So, what are you talking about? Like, so the feces on your lawn is the one that should be top priority now, instead of the months and months of prior feces spottings in Seattle being. You see what I'm saying? You're not any special to anyone else, Savant. And you're talking about threatening emails. You're a public figure. This is what comes with this. This what comes with when you step out into the spotlight. Threatening emails. And you literally, you know what? Let me continue. I mean, this lady, man, I just
have it both ways.
Gets down to kind of.
Yeah, and that was a black lady, by the way, saying you can't have it both ways. LeBron and them say, you know, black people should be scared of police. This is a black lady. She said you can't have it both ways. Let's go back.
The Queen of Bleep.
You can't have it both ways.
It's down to kind of you reap what you sow.
Police veterans and the SPD African American Community Advisory Chair say the department is dangerously short-staffed because of her defunding efforts.
Very hypocritical. You don't like the police. You make it loud and clear. You want to abolish them, and then you want their help, and you think you're above other citizens. She is.
Exactly. So they just said the police is understaffed. You cut 50% of the budget. So, of course, they're understaffed. And it's good to see at least people calling her out. But will you still vote for her? Apparently, she's not going to change her stance on where she stands about police. She's foolish and incompetent. So are you guys still going to support her? Stop. Voting blue has got Seattle to this point. To get out of it, you vote the other way. That's what you do. Savant, these Democrats in Seattle, they're not going to change. They let the criminals run Seattle. She's literally pro-criminal. Less police, more criminal activity going on. So, this African-American board, so-and-so, whatever it's called, are you still going to vote for Miss Charlevon Chavant, whatever her name is? Are you going to do it or are you not? Let's continue.
She's using her privilege.
Emily MacArthur is a Sawant supporter.
It's very stressful, especially to not feel like it's being taken seriously.
She says they're now
And see, like, so she's a Savant supporter talking about it's not being taken seriously. What are you talking about? But to just act like, oh, it's the police fault. It's Seattle's police fault. We don't even need police reform, in my opinion. We don't need police reform. In times like these where the criminals are running rampant, we should stand with police. Now, every time I see a police officer, am I just, hey, what's up, boss? Well, first off, I don't talk to really, I don't just talk to anything moving. I ain't one of these loud talking guys. But it's times like these where you stand with the officers. We don't need no police reform. For what? Change a maneuver when there's feces in your window? I mean, this situation blows my mind. In Seattle, do better, please. I'm probably not going to pause anymore. Let's see.
Watching the council member's neighborhood.
Working class people have the right to feel safe in their homes and their communities, and that we spend the largest portion of our budget as a city on the police department for them to play that role.
Seattle police told me they do take threats against public officials seriously, but investigators haven't found any evidence this case meets the standards for hate crime laws.
Maybe when our department is built back up, they'll have time to take care of her poop problem.
Now, we did ask the mayor, of course, his comments on all of this, and he says while he can't direct an investigation, he did talk to SPD and that he is condemning the threats, saying they go against our core values as a city. Elected officials.
Man, that's enough. Your core values as a city. Seattle, you have autonomous zones. You have people out here just walking around with bags of feces, apparently. This goes against your core principles as a city. And this whole situation, guys, this lady aimed to defund the police over 50%. And now you want their presence. Now you want to be on, now you want their help. They're understaffed. Who would want to work for Seattle police? The mayor, the politicians, the council members in the area do not support them. You don't have any support. So if any situation happens, Lord forbid, you try to arrest somebody and the situation doesn't go in the criminal's favor, because that's what these council members and AOC and training people like. They like to see it go the criminal's way. The criminal, he deserves milk and cookies when you arrest him. Lay him on his front, not his back. So that's why these police department is understaffed. Shout out to Seattle PD. This lady's a complete clown. It is not Seattle's police fault. And this is why the viewer from Seattle left, or he left Washington, the state as a whole, for a lot of reasons, because of states' rights, what they're trying to do with giving kids the jab and things like that. But this whole situation about Seattle, guys, let me know what y'all think. Hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. This is JC5K. I'll see y'all in the next one.